What is up, guys? Welcome back to another massive Reddit marathon. I hope you've got your popcorn ready, because today's stories are the absolute definition of audacity. We're talking about a sister who tried to steal her brother's entire future for a one-day party, a neighbor who thought a private backyard was a public park, and a workplace revenge story that is so satisfying you might actually want to cheer out loud. But before we get into the juice, do me a huge favor. If you enjoy seeing entitled people finally getting what they deserve, hit that subscribe button right now. We are growing so fast, and I honestly love reading your takes in the comments. Seriously, you guys are savage and I love it. Alright, let's jump into story number 1, because it is a total mess. Story 1. The Inheritance War. Our first story today is titled, "My Sister Told the Whole Family I am an asshole for not giving her my half of our father's inheritance to pay for her dream wedding." The original poster writes, "My father passed away last year and left his estate to be split 50-50 between me and my sister, Amy. It wasn't $1 million, but it was enough for a solid down payment on a house for both of us." Well, Amy got engaged 3 months ago, and she immediately lost her mind. She has always had expensive taste, but she went totally overboard. She booked a castle, a designer dress, and a 5-tier cake. The total bill, nearly $80,000. Amy called me last week, crying her eyes out. She said she spent her entire half of the inheritance on the deposits alone, and now she has $0 left for the actual wedding. Then came the big ask. She asked if she could borrow my half of the inheritance. When I said no, she got angry. She said, quote, "But you're not even engaged. You don't need the money right now, and I'll pay you back eventually," end quote. I told her that I am using that money for my future home, and that a wedding is a one-day party, not an investment. Now, our mom is calling me every hour saying I am being cold-hearted, and that I am ruining Amy a special day. Okay, let's just pause for a second. Borrowing $40,000 for a wedding. Amy, honey, if you can't afford the castle, you get married in a backyard. You do not liquidate your brother's future house fund so you can have fancy flowers for 5 hours. The level of entitlement here, just staggering. The comments on this one were absolutely golden. One user named House Hunter wrote, "Do not give her a cent. Eventually is not a repayment plan. You will never see that money again." Another user added, "If the mom is so worried about the wedding, why doesn't she pay for it?" Oh wait, because it's a total waste of money. Exactly. A wedding should be a celebration of love, not a financial heist on your family members. What do you guys think? Would you lend your house fund to a sibling for a party? Let me know in the comments, because I think Amy has officially lost it. Story 2. The Backyard Intruder. Moving on to story number 2. This one is about a neighbor who took the phrase sharing is caring way too far. The poster writes, "I recently installed a high-end outdoor kitchen in my backyard. It has a built-in grill, a pizza oven, and a small fridge. My neighbor, Karen, saw me using it and kept making comments about how nice it was. The next weekend, I came home from work, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I found Karen and her 3 kids in my backyard, using my grill to cook hot dogs. They even had a cooler and chairs set up like they were at a public park. When I asked what on earth she was doing, she looked at me like I was the one being weird. She said, quote, 'Well, we're neighbors, and you're at work all day anyway. It's a waste for this expensive grill to just sit here. The kids wanted a barbecue,' end quote. I told her to pack up and leave immediately. She actually had the nerve to call me selfish. She said, 'You have all this money, and you won't even let some kids have a hot dog.' She even complained to the homeowners association that I was being hostile. Wait, what? Hostile? She literally walked into a private backyard and started a fire. That isn't being a good neighbor. That's straight up trespassing. Imagine coming home from a long day at work and seeing a stranger flipping burgers on your property. I would have called the police the second I saw them. Reddit had some brilliant ideas for this one. User Fence Builder said, "Get a lock for your gate and the security camera today. Next time, she be in your living room watching your TV because you're not using it." Another user added, "Send her a literal invoice for the propane and a cleaning fee. Make it official so she knows you're not playing." Seriously, the audacity of people who think that your hard-earned luxury items are community property is just wild. If you want a pizza oven, Karen, go to the store and buy one. Story 3. The corporate kill switch. And finally, we have our last story for today, and it is incredibly satisfying. It's about a boss who tried to steal a year's worth of hard work. The user says, "I worked for a marketing firm for 3 years. I spent 6 months developing a massive campaign for a top-tier client. My boss, Steve, barely looked at the project until it was finished. On the day of the big presentation to the CEO, Steve told me I wasn't needed in the meeting. He took my slides, removed my name, put his name on them, and presented it as his own idea. He got a huge bonus and a massive promotion, but Steve made one fatal mistake. He didn't realize that I had embedded a kill switch in the digital assets. The campaign was set to run on a specific server that required a manual update every 30 days, or it would revert to placeholder mode. 3 weeks after Steve's promotion, I quit and took a job with a competitor. I didn't say a single word about the server update. On day 30, the entire national campaign, we're talking billboards, social media, everything switched from the client's beautiful ads to a giant red screen that said pending authorization. The client was absolutely furious. Steve had no idea how to fix it because he hadn't actually done any of the work. He had to admit to the CEO that he didn't have the access codes. He was fired on the spot, stripped of his bonus, and the client ended up hiring me as an external consultant to fix Steve's mistake. Now that is what I call professional karma. Steve thought he could climb the corporate ladder using someone else's brain, and he fell hard. The moral of the story: never steal from the person who actually knows how the machine works. The top comment said, "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever read." Steve didn't just lose his job, he lost his entire reputation. Another user wrote, "Always keep the receipts, and always keep the keys." I couldn't agree more. That wraps up today's marathon. Which of these stories was the most unhinged? Was it the bridezilla sister, the backyard intruder, or the corporate thief? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the drama, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a wild update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.